Are you serious? Are you serious, folks? Welcome to the broadcast. Wow, you're in for a very powerful broadcast today. Now, we're in the fourth quarter of the year, and the markets are reacting. They'll react to anything, okay? Profitability, somebody didn't hit the sales numbers they say they were going to, somebody gets a hangnail. Anything can cause the market to fluctuate, especially just before the midterms. Well, get this. Trump is, the war's still on. I mean, the trade war is on, and Trump is just the winds blowing out of the White House that he's about to put tariffs on the last $257 billion worth of Chinese goods has caused a reaction today in the market. It was down 348 points, but the last second, like in the last 3 minutes of the day, it rebounded and finished a negative 245. What does this mean? What do? You're pulling your hair out or what? Let's get an expert. Let's get the guy in that knows all the answers to the trade war, the market, the precious metals, and what should the average American do on Main Street. Folks, let's welcome from Noble Gold Investment, Colin Plume is with us today. Colin, how you doing?
Pastor Paul, doing fantastic, and I'll tell you that the hangnail that's going to be around for a while that they just can't get out with the economy is definitely interest rates. I think you obviously have the trade war with China. Interest rates are up about 100 basis points over the last 6 months, and we're starting to see a little bit of a slowdown in the real estate market. And I think that's something people need to keep an eye on.
You know, last week we reported that Trump was screaming at the Fed chairman, Powell. Because Powell just keeps raising that interest rate, and Trump is shaking his head like, what are you doing? You know, there's no inflation problem here. We got the most strongest economy in history. Why are you doing this? Unless it's something to do with the midterm, maybe. I hate to think that way.
Yeah, I hate to think that way too, but you don't want to poke the bear. And the Fed typically is a position you got to be careful, because if you push them one way, they'll typically go the other. The last time we saw interest rates get close to where we are today was 2008. So there are some warning signs. Now, if the economy is as strong as what people believe, then raising interest rates for a lot of people are good, because let's just say you're a regular person that saves money. You put money away. Right now, you can get a CD close to 4%, 10-year CD. It was half of that 2 to 3 years ago. So, for people that are savers, people that buy, very secure bonds that want a decent return, these interest rates are actually a positive. For people that are just completely leveraged and they're always borrowing, which can be an issue. That's where we could see some problems in the future.
Yeah, and let me ask you a question. Even when Wall Street is having their issues, Main Street still operates. To me, it seems like Main Street operates in a different track. I mean, if property values are strong, if sale of homes are doing fairly well, if people have a job, Wall Street can flip up and down a little bit. It won't matter. Isn't that true?
Yeah, and I agree with you. Yeah, and you're 100% right. I think the two biggest indicators that hurt us in 2008 was loss of jobs. So people walked away from mortgages. The other thing is, people may or may not remember, but with what Bill Clinton put into office, you could basically get a home with a pulse before they came in with all the regulations. So, I'm kind of going extreme, but it's not. I mean, before 2008, they had all kinds of loan programs available where you didn't have to put any money down. You didn't even have to prove income, and people were just getting homes, just buying homes left and right. And then once things turn around, that's when people got in trouble and they lost those homes, and we had a big problem. The banking industry has definitely tightened since then. So I don't. As long as people can afford their mortgages, I think we'll see. The real estate market will pull back a little bit, but I think it'll be interesting to see what's going to happen with this stock market. We're still let's not forget, we're in the biggest bull run we've had in almost 50 years. We've never been in a situation where the economy, the stock market has risen for more than 10, 11 years, and we're right there. So people right now are nervous. They're nervous about this Chinese trade war. I think the thing about Trump that makes him unique is that he doesn't care if he gets reelected. He's going to do what he thinks is right now. And I think he thinks that trying to put us in a better position with goods in our country is beneficial now. And I don't think he's always looking at, midterm elections or, his election in 2020. So that could be to his detriment.
I mean, when you think about that a lot of times, I mean, so this trade war is serious, okay? I mean, Trump went after this right out of the blocks. He was as if he was thinking, look, there's only one way to fix this nation's manufacturing base, and that would be to put tariffs on the cheap Chinese goods and also cut the taxes for corporate America as well as the rest of America, create an economy that's welcoming to the manufacturing base, and encourage these guys with tax abatements and breaks and get them to start bringing the manufacturing back. Because I think long term, he's thinking not only economically, but militarily. You got to keep the technology in your court, don't you?
Yeah. No, that's a good point, Pastor Bill. Sometimes you think, I think the big thing in this country is starting to change, hopefully, is that people, a lot of times, we're just thinking about getting the cheapest item, whether it's clothes or cars or whatever. And now I think people are starting to come back and say, you know what, if I have to pay an extra 3, 4, 5% because I know someone in America made this product, that makes me happy, and I think that helps grow the economy. And I think that's basically what Trump's been trying to preach, is just bring the jobs back, bring the technology back, and let's stop sending this money overseas. It's funny, a lot of people with our Trump coin have called, and I hate to say that I'm offended, but I've gotten so many people call asking if we made the coin in China, and I mean, it doesn't make any sense that they would call an asset if they knew us. They knew this. They knew you. Obviously, you wouldn't promote the product. The coin's made here in the United States. I mean, we're promoting everything that's made here in the U.S. because I think the more jobs, more money we keep here, the better it is long term.
Yeah, folks, here it is. I have a Trump coin. It is definitely American made,
Yep.
And it's a beautiful, beautiful coin. And it really, it's 1 ounce of silver. Oops, I gotta hold it somewhere. Brock says hold it somewhere. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Sorry about. There is the Trump coin right there, and it's exactly 1 ounce of silver. It's a beautiful coin, and it pays tribute to all the accomplishments that he has done. So it's a great item. I think it'd be a great gift if you wanted to give somebody a gift for the Christmas season. Wonderful coin, and it just, you know what, makes you be proud to be an American is what I'm thinking, Colin. And
Absolutely.
Let me ask you a question. I mean, if you look at the things that are going on with the trade war, now we've got another issue. There's a lot of tension building. Putin and Trump looks like are going to have a meeting on Veterans Day on 11/11 in Paris, France, to discuss this nuclear trade agreement that Trump says, look, Russia, you're not keeping your end of the bargain, so we might as well cancel it. And how does that affect the economy or precious metals for that matter?
I think it's a no-win situation with Putin. I mean, we can meet, and he's going to say everything that President Trump wants to hear, but unfortunately, that's what he's been trained for his whole life, being a KGB operative. And I think there's no way that agreement is going to do anything good. And I think President Trump is 100% right. There's no reason for us to be involved unless we're going to have full transparency, which is similar to what we've been trying to do with North Korea, is have more transparency. And I think we're going to get farther with North Korea than we are with Russia. I don't think there's any way we can trust them. Russia is prepared. They are buying gold. We've talked about it so many times I remember the one interview was really funny. We were talking about the plane out of Russia where all the gold was falling out of the back, and it was sort of a joke. But it was, they are buying. They're one of the biggest buyers of gold in the world, so they're going to get prepared for sanctions. And if they feel like the U.S. is putting them on too many sanctions, then they're just going to go ahead and trade and barter with gold and silver. So they have an alternative asset to barter with. And a lot of people say, oh, that'll never happen. There's lots of countries that have been trading with gold and silver, even over the last 10 years, because they like to be trading an asset that's not so volatile and not losing so much value like the U.S. dollar does. At the end of the day, as much as we say our currency is the strongest in the world, it's still, the inflation is still astronomical since we've gone off the gold standard in 1971. I mean, our dollar is constant. I mean, you go back 10 years, Pastor Paul, and think about what you can buy. So gold and silver are a natural trading and bartering instrument, and I think countries are going to continue to use it. And if there's sanctions put upon them and they're not allowed to use the dollar, they're just going to move into other currencies.
Folks, this is Colin Plume with us, noblegoldinvestments.com. That's noblegoldinvestments.com. And you can always pick up the phone number and call him. Colin's waiting for you at 877-646-5347. That's 877-646-5347, or go to noblegoldinvestments.com. You're talking about the gold standard, talking about the things that the government's been doing, the inflation rate. You guys got a book out about the government lies exposed. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that? It's available at your website.
Yeah, so that's, if someone wants to get some information, we have a number of free guides. We have one that talks about how to protect your IRA with gold and silver, which we have right here. And The Government Lies Exposed was written by an economist, John Williams, from shadowstats.com. And it talks about the true inflationary numbers. So when you read that book, you're going to find that based on the government numbers, inflation is actually not 2%. It's anywhere from 8 to 10%, pretty much every month last year. Except in September of last year, inflation was actually over 9%. So I think it's a great book if someone wants to get into the true numbers of inflation and realize that, hey, that 2% number that we've been fed is really not true. And the reason is because they pulled out so many of the major statistics that have always been there with inflation. So that's a great book for anybody that has some time, and it's about a 5-page PDF, and all that and all of our guides are completely free for anybody that calls in.
So there you go, folks. You can get this Government Lies Exposed. It's free. The book is free. You just get it. You just go to his website. You can open that PDF and you can read it and understand how the government operates. Look, let's just face it. It's not just the free market. The government still has their hands in this market, and just like the trade war that we're dealing with. I mean, the President of the United States is trying, in his mind, by putting tariffs on the goods that's coming into this country. He's saying America first. He keeps shoving everybody back, yet he wants to be friends with everyone, but on his terms, for America first. For too long, Colin, we have really just been giving the store away. I mean, we had to do something, didn't we?
Yeah, absolutely. No, it's been something that's been a long time coming, and I think that there's been too many presidents before him that have focused on other issues. And it's important to build relations with other countries, but ultimately we have to protect the workers here. And I think he's a bottom line thinker, President Trump. He's thinking about, how do I keep unemployment, 4%, 4.5%, which is, one of the things that we put on the Trump coin. We wanted to highlight the real things that are happening in the economy. Unemployment's the lowest it's been in 25 years. First major tax reform he signed in 20 years. I mean, there's a lot of things that are good for people. And at the end of the day, you said it earlier, even if the stock market crashes, as long as people have jobs, that's really what's the most important thing. And hopefully that will continue.
That's why I love this Trump coin, because you guys did more than just put his face on there. On the back you put all of his accomplishments, delivering as promised, and so it's a great gift. But, I really want to thank you guys for something. I received a gift from you guys in the mail Saturday that I was stunned. I understand that it's a beautiful case this came in, and when I opened it up, there was this coin, a silver dollar. But, folks, it's not just any silver dollar. It's 1881, a silver dollar from 1881, and it's in almost perfect condition. Can you tell me what's going on? I mean, do you guys got these kinds of silver dollars available there?
Yeah. So what we a lot of people were after the Trump coin. They were saying, "What's a coin? What's a rare coin that I can get into that I can afford?" Because obviously, there's that coin that you have. One of those coin, not that one, but a coin very similar to that, about 10 years old or 10 years not older, but 10 years newer, 1891. Those coins can sell. There was one that sold at auction for about $400,000. So people were calling us and saying, "I want to get into a rare coin that I can afford. I want to give my nephew, my niece, my grandkids something." And so what we did is we went out and we bought a coin that's a great starter coin. It's the Morgan silver dollar, and it's a coin that anywhere from the dates from 1881 all the way to 1921. We have different the random dates that you're going to receive depending on what you're looking to get into. But it's a great way for someone to learn about some of these rare coins. And you and I off the air were talking about a little bit 1881. I mean, think about this, before World War I, before the Great Depression. I mean, think about the car was pretty close to being invented right around that time. I mean, there is so much history that's happened over the last 120, 130 years, and people can actually hold that history in their hands. That coin could have been used at a saloon. It could have been used, anywhere on the street. People were using these dollars. So, and that's when the dollar actually had some value. You could actually buy something with the dollar. So it's something people can get from us at a very affordable price. And I think it's a great way to start a collection for anyone that's looking to get started and hold a piece of history in your hands.
Folks, again, and it comes in a beautiful case. I know there's different kinds of cases you can get there at his website. Yeah. And again, this is a 137-year-old coin. You're right. It's before the Wright brothers. It's before the Model T. I mean, yeah. we're dealing with here a piece of history, a beautiful piece, and I appreciate it greatly. And I think anyone who would, if you was to get a coin like that and give that to your grandfather or to your uncle, or to someone in the family that you really appreciate, they would appreciate that. It's got a.
Pastor Paul, it's like, how many ties is someone going to give you? It's like you want something different, and the website is historicsilvercoins.com, and they can see the coins there. They can buy them right on the website with their credit card. And we are offering a $5 discount for anyone that's watching this. If they put in Paul, they're going to save $5. Depending on which coin they buy, they'll save $5 a coin. So we are offering a discount for people that are watching your show, Pastor Paul. But I think it's going to be a great gift for Christmas, and I think people are going to be excited. Also, we have we created our own certificate of authenticity book. Plus, it's got 12 pages of information talking about the book, the history of the book. So if you really want to read and learn about this, it's all included, and that's included with the purchase of the coin. So we're really excited to get these these pieces of history in people's hands.
Yeah, it's really cool because what you're doing is you want to educate people. The money has changed. We've changed styles. We've changed currency values. We've used different metals, and that's the one thing about precious metals. And they're at noblegoldinvestment.com. If you go to noblegoldinvestment.com, you can call the number if you'd like to, 877-646-5347. Let Colin, let his staff help you understand why you can diversify. A lot of you are at that point in life where it's time to retire. You got that 401k. You're like, what do I do? Do I roll this into an IRA? Do I put some of this in the stock market? Do I put some of it in precious metals? I'm not the guy. Look, I'm not the guy to ask that, okay? The guy to ask that is Colin Plume, and that's what I like about Noble Gold Investment. Christian company, good people, honest, we'll look at your situation and give you the best advice. Colin, you guys really care about the people, don't you?
Absolutely, yeah, and ultimately, our clients become, part of our family, and we talk to them through the years. I have clients from 10, 12 years ago that still call me and just want to talk about their lives. And I think when people call in, they're going to find that everybody here is very friendly. They're going to get an education. They're going to learn about precious metals. They're going to learn something they didn't know. They're going to get some great information. And, if it's something that's for them, great. If not, then, that's fine too. And hopefully we were able to teach them about something that I think is fascinating. I think getting some of these coins in your hands, the history behind it is just so fun. And we're really excited to educate people and teach them about this really important part of our history.
It's amazing. My wife's grandfather, he used to save all these coins, and I mean, he had these old coins. He had the Buffalo nickels, and he had the folder thing with every year the date in it. And he kept saying to me, "Man, if you ever see a 1943 nickel, don't you dare spend it." Okay. There's a lot of passion in this.
Yeah, there's you can definitely find some hidden gems out there. Certain years can be much more valuable, and but I think overall, just $1 in 1881, the coin that think about it, you could have bought dinner, you could have gone out, you and your wife could have gone out, bought dinner, and maybe still had a little money left over. It's amazing what the value of $1 was, 120, 130 years ago. And so to think about that, people had these in their hands, they're buying goods with them. I think it's just going to be something great, and I'm excited. I've been passing them around to friends and family, and they're just blown away that they can own something at such an affordable price. So, anyone that calls in has questions, or they can just check out the website, historicsilvercoins.com.
Now, Colin, as we go forward here in this economy, again, we know it's the fourth quarter. The midterms are coming up. Everyone's talking about the blue wave, but I noticed that now they're starting to talk about a red wall. Can you give us a little bit of maybe your prediction? What do you think? Does the Republicans hang on to the Senate and the House, or is there going to be a change of the guard here?
I think everything's going to stay the same. I really do. I think that at the end of the day, there's a few things. We're in a position where Trump's fighting for us with countries like China and even Canada to help improve our situation with auto workers in the United States, which was a big big thing that he passed a few weeks ago. And I think ultimately, here's what people look at: are you better financially than you were 2 or 3 years ago? And I think most people are going to say yes. And I think most people are going to vote for that and keep that moving in the right direction.
Trump's policies of America first, some people would call that isolationist. He even says he's a nationalist, meaning he's America first. I know the media is trying to put a spin on that and try to label him something that he isn't. But at the same time, there's several ways you can look at economies. You can look at a globalist ideal or a socialist markets, and we have seen what those have done historically. Look at Venezuela. Look what happened to Cuba after the revolution. Look what happened to Russia, North Korea, starving half to death. The communism or super socialism really is, how many times has it got to fail before we understand it? Yet it's amazing to me, Colin. I still see people in America, in the political arena, saying they want to be a socialist. It just kind of, it's shocking, but is there a difference in philosophy economically with these folks?
No, I think you don't know how good you have it until you don't have it anymore. And I think that's what people don't realize, that the safety and security that sometimes people take for granted is based on us having this free market and this capitalism and what our forefathers put before us. And I think, when you look at Trump and you look at his, and probably his presidential hero, Reagan, when Reagan was putting forth all this America First type of legislation, nobody seemed to have a problem with it at that time. But nowadays we do see that. Maybe it's because of his history, his past, or the fact that he's not as polished, obviously, as President Reagan was. But I think ultimately the effects, long-term effects, are going to be positive for us. As much as he barks loud, we're not in any kind of conflicts at this point. We stayed out of any conflicts, which I think is really important. So he's basically a really brash negotiator that's pushing people's buttons, threatening a lot of things, but ultimately he's just trying to get the best deal, which is this book, The Art of the Deal. He's just trying to get the best deal for you and I, and I think that's a good thing.
Folks, Colin Plume's with us, noblegoldinvestments.com. That's noblegoldinvestment.com. Colin, we're looking at the market. We understand it's down 245 points today. And they're saying it's because Trump is threatening to do this $257 billion more of Chinese goods that would get a tariff put on it. You know what? Big deal. All that does is it just forces the American market to produce make it made in America, which only fuels the economy. I mean, I don't see how it can be a negative to want to put Americans to work to buy American products.
Yeah, I mean, no matter when the stock market goes up every day, there seems to always be an explanation. 200 points right now is not even on the radar, in my opinion. If we see the stock market drop by 10%, and it was the day after we saw some kind of negotiation with China, then maybe it's a conversation. But I think there's just a lot of clickbait out there. People just put headlines to try to trigger things. The economy, the stock market's 30% higher than when Trump got in office. So until we see some of those major gains pulling back, until we see 10, 15%, 20%, then right now I think everything's just kind of status quo.
And as we go forward, folks, just know this. I really believe this, that you're going to continue to see the economy strengthen. The debt is probably the one. Healthcare and our debt are the two areas that are probably the biggest concerns for the United States of America as far as economically. Colin, would you agree with that?
Absolutely, 100%. And I think the problem with those two areas is especially the debt, we're still, a lot of the debt is from, a few wars that we were in a few years ago. We're still trying to repay those. And, this healthcare bill it does cost a lot of money, and, you do have that factoring in. But I think that one thing, when you have a good economy, and we saw it, last tax season, the IRS came out and said there's the most money ever paid in taxes, just on a national level. You have 3 or 4 years of that can wipe away a lot of that debt. So hopefully the economy continues to grow, and that'll hopefully eradicate some of the debt we have.
And I think we're going to see a significant windfall for the government. I mean, think about this. I know that this big tax cut hit. And here's the price of gold, just real quick. It's at $1,235 an ounce. Pretty steady. It's been kind of holding there for quite some time, hasn't it, Colin?
Yeah, it's been kind of in the 1,200 range, high 1,100s for probably the past 3 to 4 months.
So when we look at what's going to be taking place, folks, going forward, I think in the market, and if you're retiring or you're getting ready to sell your home, you still got housing values are still up, homes are still moving, but again, you always keep an eye on what's going on. Is it about to turn a little bit? It's something to consider. I don't think you need to panic. I think the year 2019 is going to be another strong economic year for America. I really do. And I think when the tax year comes in, people are going to pay less taxes, but there's going to be more revenue going into the government because the economy is on fire, Colin.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and listen, at the end of the day, your home is a place to live. It shouldn't be your biggest investment, ultimately. I mean, eventually it will be down the road, but until you're at that point in your life, you have to live somewhere. So, that shouldn't be something that you put on your balance sheet and say, oh, my house went up 10% last year, this is great. At the end of the day, you got to live somewhere. So I think what people need to look at right now is take that out of the mix, look at their other investments, their cash, their stocks, their bonds, their mutual funds, their precious metals. What do they have in case the stock market pulls back in the next 12 to 24 months? Do they have money aside? Can they survive? Are they protected if there's an eventual collapse? You want to be diversified. You want to have different assets. You do not want to have all your eggs in one basket right now. You want to be protected. Yes, everything looks great. Things are looking good on the horizon, but you got to make sure you're protected, because you and I both know when the market turns, it turns fast, and it can be vicious. So just make sure that you have some assets in different things, so that you're protected, and then you can have the retirement and live the way that you want to live.
Got to ask you about this. One more question here, real important. That's silver. I mean, I'm hearing that these solar panels are going to be selling like crazy, that in California, it's going to be a requirement that every new construction has to have solar panels on the roof.
Yeah.
And I'm also hearing it takes silver to make solar panels. Is that correct?
Yeah, absolutely. And silver, I mean, every mining conference that I go to, Charles and we go to, the miners are just shocked. They can't believe the price has been held back this long. There's no reason the price should be anywhere but low to mid 20s, which we're well below that right now. So I think silver is a great buy right now. And people should be considering definitely picking up a portion of that for their portfolio.
And just throw out a little information. I've been hearing in the grapevine, Elon Musk has developed a new solar panel tile for your roof. Yeah. In other words, you'll be able, folks, if you build a new home, or if you want to, just change the roof out and put it. If you go to put new roof on, every tile is the sun. Is the sun panel. It's unbelievable. Have you heard this, Colin?
Yeah, absolutely. And I have a family member that works there, and has confirmed that it is true. And because I think a big part of it is people that don't do it, they don't like the inconvenience of having to put the panel on top of the roof. What's going to happen if there's a water leak, or there's different things that people are concerned about. So having it in the tile would just mitigate all of that. So it's a brilliant idea. We'll see how long it takes to, obviously he's got a lot of brilliant ideas. Sometimes it takes him a while to get them out to the public, like the Model 3 that a lot of people are still waiting on. But if the idea works, I think it would change, because basically everyone that gets a new home would just do that. And then boom, there they go. There goes their energy bill down, 80, 90%. So I think it could really change the landscape of what's happening.
Well, I mean, this could be, he made billions off PayPal, because he created PayPal. He's made billions off SpaceX. I mean, he's the guy who can shoot a space rocket in the air and get it to land back on the pad. What? Nobody could do that. But this, to me, would be the biggest industry-changing deal in history. I mean, incredible savings on electricity for everybody across the nation. Over probably a 30-year period, it would just revolutionize the housing industry.
Yep, absolutely. It would be fantastic. It's going to be great, and I'm looking forward to see when he's able to release it.
Folks, again, Noble Gold Investment, Christian company, great family-owned, great guy, Colin Plume. And check out his Trump coins. Get one for Christmas to give to one of your loved ones, or these older coins. I mean, if you're a coin collector, how cool is that to get check out what they got available, and just give them a call at 877-646-5347. It's just good people to talk to, and they'll give you good advice going forward. Colin, appreciate everything you guys are doing, and thank you for coming on and being with us today. We truly appreciate your support here of Paul Begley Prophecy Ministries.
Thank you, Pastor Paul, as always. Take care.
Folks, we'll see you next time. Absolutely. Are you serious? Right here on The Coming Apocalypse.